Welcome to Motorsport Coaching, the podcast for racers with racers. Miss Motivate can help get you to the next level. Every episode, she talks to the best racers of today and those that can get you there. She'll help you get better.
Racing news.
At fitness, nutrition, sports psychology, sponsorship, social media, public relations, and media training. Connect with Miss Motivate at motivatetraining.com.au. That's MOTIV, 8, training.com.au. And now, to help get you to the next level, Miss Motivate herself, Belinda Risley.
Hello, crew, and welcome to episode 148 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. Very excited that we're nearly at episode 150. This week, I am joined by a very special Dr. Aimee Brown. She's a passionate holistic chiropractor, a personal trainer, and a dedicated mother of 3. She has over 12 years' experience in the health and wellness industry. She is dedicated to simplifying the complex health concepts into practical, everyday habits. Aimee brings a unique approach by addressing the physical, mental, and nutritional aspects of health, supporting women to enhance their body and mind, both inside and out. As an accomplished ultramarathon runner, she knows the importance of staying in top shape while juggling a busy life. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is one of my favorites, I guess because it's something different that we haven't had on the show before, in the sense that Dr. Aimee breaks down the importance of work-life balance and just finding a balance as a parent, finding a balance as an athlete, obviously herself being an ultramarathon runner, how she finds time basically to fit everything in without the guilt. And you'll hear how I speak about having mum guilt, and I'm sure a few of the parents can relate that when it comes to our children, we always want the best, but sometimes that goes at the cost of our own health and well-being. I do hope you enjoy today's episode, but before we get started, just a quick reminder that the annual Motivate survey is now open until Sunday, June the 25th. So if you'd like to give us some feedback, what you like, what you don't like, what you do know, what you don't know about Motivate, and what you'd like to see, we'd really appreciate if you could race over and fill in that survey. The link will be in today's show notes, as well as all of Dr. Aimee's information and a little bit more information regarding our toolkit. So team, if you're new to motorsports or you're new to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast, our toolkit is our entry way of working with us. Basically, it's a resource center full of lots of resources around motorsport fitness, sponsorship, social media, nutrition, mindset, branding, and public relations. So if you're new to motorsports and you're just looking to get started in some education around all of those disciplines, please race over and have a look at the toolkit. Don't forget to fill in the survey. And of course, if you are enjoying these podcasts, if you can leave us a review on your listening platform today, that would be greatly appreciated. You do go into the monthly draw to win access to the toolkit, as well as different prizes each and every month. All right, well, let's get started today with Dr. Aimee Brown. Hello, Dr. Aimee Brown, and welcome to the Motorsport Coaching Podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I know every week I just say I'm excited, but every week I do feel like I always have wonderful guests. But you are a Wonder Woman. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name's Aimee. I am a mum of 3 little kids. I am a chiropractor. I have a business in Perth called Bespoke Chiropractic. I'm also a personal trainer, and I have written a chapter in a book, so published author, and also in my spare time, air quotes, I run ultramarathon. So last year I ran 3 200-mile events in Australia. So nice and busy, but absolutely love every aspect of it all.
And so you said you've got 3 kids. What's the mix of that, and what are their ages?
So I have a boy who is almost 11 and 2 girls who have just turned 7 and 9.
Fantastic. So you are super busy. I just
yes.
so many things. I'm like, how do you fit it all in? How did you get into ultramarathon? Did you do chiropractic first? You're a personal trainer. What came first? The chicken or
What
the
came
egg?
first? So definitely chiropractic was first. So I've been doing that for 13 years now, I think. So that was definitely first. And I was very lucky that I was able to sort of grow my business slowly around having kids. I knew that I wanted to have them young. So I just sort of gradually built things up so I could always work around the kids and have that balance of being home for the kids, but also still working. Then I think it was when I was pregnant with my second child, I decided to train to be a personal trainer, more so because I was actually curious about what they learnt and what they were taught. Which I thought was not a lot. And obviously there's all different courses and different things, and it's changed a bit since I did it, but it was actually a really interesting process to know what they know. And that was more so when I was referring clients, like my chiropractic clients, to someone to know exactly what their background was and what they were taught, and then being able to refer to the right person for the right thing. But it also gave me that scope to be able to put everything all together and really look and help people holistically from their nervous system as a chiropractor, but also then take care of those basic exercise things that people can work on at home, because that's what I'm all about, is just simple, easy things that people can do on an everyday basis to sort of move their health forward. And then I sort of fell into ultramarathon running a few years ago. Exactly. As you do, let's just fall into it. I've always loved...
You know what? I'm going to just rock up to that event and just start doing that.
Yeah, but that's basically what happened. Seriously. So I've always loved running. It's always been my sort of downtime. Mm-hmm. And then there was a competition to win entry into 200 miles. So for people that had never run one before. And I saw that one, kind of like, why not? And didn't win that. And then I kind of went, well, why not just do it myself? I didn't even know there was such a thing as trail shoes, this whole backpack business. Like, I had literally no idea. And when, I think it was about 7 months from when I signed up to when I did my first 200 miler, which is a bit crazy, but absolutely love it. And then did a few more last year as well. And I call myself in semi-retirement at the moment, so just sort of working out what the next plan is. Just trying to fit running in around the kids and family and business this year. Last year, that definitely took a bit of a front row seat, and so just sort of swapping it around this year to putting it to fit around instead of everything else sort of fitting around that. But yeah, that's a bit about how it all came together.
Wonderful. I'm just going to go back to being a chiropractor. We've never had a chiropractor on the show before. I feel like chiros do get a bit of a bad rap out there. I myself love chiropractors and have always seen one. But I guess for those that are a little bit skeptical or not sure 100% exactly what a chiro does, and maybe a difference between what a chiro and a physio does, if you could share that, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, so I always say one of the best things and one of the worst things about chiropractic is there is so much variation in what we do and how we treat people. The biggest thing is we're always focused on the nervous system and getting your nervous system functioning the best that it can. And that to me is one of the biggest difference between a chiropractor and a physio, is that a lot of physios don't, some of them do, but majority of them don't have that nervous system base to what they're doing. But as I say, sometimes you will see a chiropractor that will do lots of dry needling, lots of rehab, lots of adjustments, like a sports-based chiro, who's more seems like a physio, or what people perceive to be a physio. And then you'll also get physios who will do manipulations and things like that, so are more almost like a chiro. So there's a lot of crossover between the two. For me, it's all about putting it all together. So we do a lot of adjustments. We do gentle adjustments. So there doesn't have to be any cracking, crunching sort of style adjustments. It can be all nice and gentle without that, because I know a lot of people freak out about that side of things. All the videos going around on TikTok and all of that at the moment are not necessarily great sometimes, because they show the big adjustments, which it's not all about. We can do it without that. But as I said, the function, or the aim, is to get the nervous system functioning the best that it can in a variety of different ways, and putting that all together for the patient.
Yeah, so a lot of people, when they get injured, they automatically just go to a physio, or the GP normally always refers to physio. So previously done lots of workers' compensation claims and stuff. But a lot of it, like you're saying, is nervous based. So why is it still, after all of these generations, that the awareness of how beneficial chiropractic is, that it's just not there?
Look, if you have that answer, let me know, because I don't think that we have it. I think it's just something that's ingrained. I definitely think it's changing very, very slowly. The awareness is definitely getting out there about what we do and how we can help people. But I don't have the answer to that. I don't know why it's like that. And I think part of it falls on us to getting out there and showing people that it's not just about a quick crack and a crunch, and there is more to it than that, and getting the awareness out about that we can treat sporting injuries and we can look after your whole body and we can help you deal with stress better and help your body adapt to stress better, that side of things. But as to the whole chiro physio GP thing, that's just one of those things that I think is going to be there for a while yet. But I'm always a fan of it's about finding who's right for you. Like, I have physios who I refer to and refer to me, same with GPs as well. So it's about finding the right person for you and getting that patient-client relationship up and running as best for both the practitioner and for the client, for what they need, is always my goal.
Just putting my 5 cents worth in. When I had a head-on car accident many, like when I was 18 or something, and I always remember. And I still do it to this day because it was a flight or fright response. I could see I was going to crash. And I did that. No, I don't know why I'm showing you. Anyway, I'm sticking a pen in my mouth. Like release the jaw.
Yeah.
And I still do that all through my gum now. And I just, I love it. It's just such a nice exercise.
It's the best.
I like those things. And you mentioned before, like, you do a holistic approach. What does it actually mean? I think it's one of those words, holistic, that people thrown around about being authentic, and which we communicate a lot within our sponsorship kind of realm of things. So what does holistic mean, and what does that mean when it comes to treatment of an athlete or a patient?
So I totally agree. I think the word holistic is completely overused, and part of me doesn't like using it myself for that reason. But for me, I do think that we are holistic in the way that we approach. So for all of our clients, yes, we do chiropractic adjustments. We're going to physically see what is going on for them and help them physically function better, whether that is with manipulations or adjustments or stretches, whatever that is, exercises. But we also do techniques in our clinic to work on the emotional side of things and decreasing the impact of emotions on the body, and that brain-body connection as well. So we use applied kinesiology-based techniques, one of them called neuro-emotional technique and Neuralink, as well as applied kinesiology, and just get that body functioning the best it can and help decrease the impact of stress, or that mental and emotional load on the body, and make that change to how it happens physiologically through the system as well. And then we always talk about drinking water, getting enough sleep, moving your body, and then simple things as well, like nutrition, like making sure drinking water is a big one nutritionally, but making sure they're eating the right foods for them, any supplements that might need to help them recover from where they're at the moment as well. So we really do look at all aspects of what's going on within their body, and sort of give a plan for them and fit in with what works for them, because everybody's body and everybody's life is different. So what one person can fit in is very different to what another person is. So working out what the priority is for them as well along the way.
Like running 200 miles. I mean, with 3 kids and business, where did you have the time to fit all that in? And I guess the questions come from, you're just saying about the kinesiology and the motions with the body. Was it from that training or working with other consultants, allied health prac, from your learning that you went, I'm going to now try and implement what I've learned and what I know into my own training? And hey, why not just knock it out with an ultramarathon?
Why not, right? It definitely it took a lot to get the training in, and I had an amazing coach that I worked with, which understood that I was busy, and that my body and mind were already sort of under the pump, so to speak. So I never did the hours and the kilometres that some people would think were involved. I'd run sort of 5, sometimes 6 days a week, a little bit of strength. I did have to get up pretty early some days to do it. Long runs were on the weekends, but it was just able to fit in. But it wasn't like I was running like 100, 150K weeks. It definitely wasn't like that at all. And if I was tired, if I had a busy day at work or a busy week or was overloaded with the kids being sick or whatever that was, then I just back on my training. And my coach was very good at understanding that and working and encouraging that, which is what I always say with my clients as well, is if you're overloaded in one way, you need to take the load off in another way. Your body and mind can only cope with so much. So if you're loading it physically, it's not going to cope as well mentally and vice versa. I had my chiropractor that works at the clinic with me. I also saw another sports chiropractor who took care of a lot of dry needling and muscle work for me. I took a bucket load of supplements. I lost count of how many I was taking at some point just to give that extra support and get up and go. And so I really was doing all the things, and sleep was a massive thing for me. Like I would be in bed early, like 8:30, 9 o'clock most nights, because I'd have to be up early for my run. And I know that I don't do well, or anybody in general doesn't do well if you're not sleeping well and getting that quality and the time of sleep. So that was a huge, huge thing for both lead up to events and also recovery from events, was making sure that I actually had that sleep to let my body heal and recover during that time. And I think there's a story I tell about one of the events, and it was literally coming into this aid station, me running for a few days, minimal sleep at this point, absolute mess, like absolute hysterical, sobbing mess, exhausted. I'd hurt my knee, could barely walk. It was an absolute disaster on all levels. And I literally lay down, I think it was 10 minutes. I didn't actually sleep. I just laid down. I got up. People were there to help cheer me up. Like the aid stations are always good fun. There was music. There was this amazing sunset in the background. I had some food, which was, I think, Coke and noodles, because at that point you're just eating and drinking whatever. It's not about healthy necessarily at that point. Refueled, changed. I think I just chucked a jacket, like nothing major, lots of water, and was ready to go again, like completely changed everything around. And it's exactly what I say to people, like just take a break, feel it all, take a step back, drink some water, take a few deep breaths, get yourself out into nature, feed yourself well, have a laugh, make yourself smile, and you can completely change the way you're feeling physically and emotionally really, really quickly if you're open to doing it. So I think that's, looking back, one of the biggest things was actually realizing that it is those everyday things that I do and speak about with my clients was put into practice in the middle of a 200-mile event, and it actually did work. So it's not just about everyday life, it's about everything that you're doing. You can apply these simple things to, and it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, so you mentioned your support team was a little more hands-on. Did you actually work with a sports psychologist, or you mentioned that was a great example, but what did you do for your own mindset, or what keeps you motivated during the actual event?
Oh, during the actual event, it's definitely a roller coaster of mind stuff. You see your crew every now and then, which definitely keeps you more upbeat. And then towards the end of the event, you can have, or the second half, really have what they call a pacer with you. So someone running with you, keeping you awake, and they would just talk like the random conversations that we had just to keep your mind occupied. And then there's a real like mental shift in counting down how many kilometers you have left, whether it's like, because you start with 330 or something, when you hit that 200 to go, that 100 to go, like there's a real like, whoa, we're almost there attitude. And it is almost there, only 100 days to go. And it really is just, for me, recognizing that there are highs and lows, and there are going to be really, really flat points, and there are going to be really, really amazing points, and having people around you that recognize what to do during those flat points, whether it is just letting you cry and get it out, or whether it's putting on a stupid song and perking you up, or telling you a silly story, or whatever it is to get you out of that sort of little funk and know that the next thing's going to be okay. But it is a roller coaster of emotions out there. It's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And I think, just recognizing that and riding through it is the most important thing.
Fantastic. And you mentioned, obviously, we can't just rock up and do a race. There has to come into some goal setting, obviously planning, again, around your children and around the business. How did you go around about setting your goals? And have you got any tips or strategies about work-life balance, I guess?
Yeah. I don't think there is a work-life balance. I think sometimes it is more work, sometimes it's more life, and it's just whatever the priority is at the time. I am extremely lucky that I have an amazing husband who lets me do these things. It's not like that, but supports me to do these things more than lets me. And the kids are great. Like, they're used to me going out and running and doing everything now, and they're quite cute. They'll often say, "Oh, did you not come last this time, Mum?" Because I'm always a back of the packer.
Yeah.
So the first one I did, I came last. I think I'm last in a couple, second last, third last, something like that. And it's been a really great lesson for them to learn as well, that you can go out and give it your all and do the best and still celebrate, even if you're coming last. Not everyone's going to win, but slightly off topic with that. And I was lucky that I had an amazing...
Sorry, it's actually very on topic here, because obviously with the demographic, you can't win every race. And so it doesn't matter if you're coming last, you're still getting experience, and you're still getting the laps, and you're still getting that mental capacity to build stronger, that when you go to compete next time, that you won't come last, that you might then come second last and then third last, and then you just keep building up. But because you've gone through those failures, or I guess not success in your mind, then that's how you're going to continue to improve on your performance.
Yeah, and exactly. It's the version, what is success, which is the whole thing around setting the goals, is that my goal with all of this was purely to finish.
Oh my God,
I never had.
I would be to rock up to the line, Aimee.
Yeah, it wasn't, I want to come first or second or finish in this many hours. And those goals definitely changed sometimes through the events. So there was one event that I went, okay, it was not doing so well at the start, picked up in the second half doing it. I was like, right, there was a point, I think I was 50 or 60 Ks out from the end or something. And I went, I can actually get this done in under 100 hours. And I'd never cracked the under 100 hours. So it's right. And then the girls that were with me, they're like, yep, we can do this, blah, blah, blah. And so it's that mindset then changes. So I think that's the whole thing with goals, is adapting along the way as well, is there's never going to be a set A, B. You have to have your plan A, B, C, D, E all the way through. And the support crew is pivotal to that, and them knowing what those goals are, and whether it is support crew at home holding down the fort with the kids, support crew actually with me running, or the support crew that I have in the office as well. The other chiropractors would pick up some extra shifts. The front desk staff and the office managers know their role while I'm away, and they're great that I can just step away and go away for a week, and I know that they've got it covered. So it's about everyone being on the same page and communication, and just being able to adapt and go with the flow. There's never an easy thing. And one of the events that was interstate, it was when COVID was happening in WA, and there was all the close contact rules and all of that. So I actually then moved out of home for the week before I went, so that then I couldn't and I'd see the kids briefly, because if one of them got it at school or was a close contact, then I wouldn't have been able to fly. So I was away for the week, and that was decided a few days before. And then I went away running. Whilst I was running, the kids did get COVID. So then when I came home, I had to move in with one of my best mates for a few days, because I was well, there's no point in me coming home now and then having to quarantine. And so it was just one of those things which is it felt like everything that could happen happened. And I didn't have the best event either, because I was in a stress state going into it. And I think that was the biggest learning looking back, is that I was stressed before I went. I was stressed going into it. I didn't have all those normal, my normal bed, my normal pillow, all of those basic things. Sleep hadn't been best. And so then, because I was already stressed up to here, that extra physical and mental stress pushed over here, and it just wasn't great. My digestion went, I didn't want to eat, I was cranky than normal, and all sorts of things. And so it was a real lesson as well in, yes, we need to adapt, but we also need to have those little things that keep us grounded during the time. And that's something I didn't do so well then, but I said it's all a learning curve. You're never going to get it perfect. Each time. It's about adapting and doing the best you can.
That's right. And I always encourage all the drivers to do a debrief after their performance. So quite often they do a debrief with their race engineer or the mechanic or their mum and dad about their performance from the vehicle and where they finished, but they don't actually do a debrief on about their personal performance. So encourage them to write down how did they feel, what, 3 things they could improve on, 3 things they were happy with, 3 things they want to focus on to improve their performance until their next event. So I think kind of just having that focus. Yeah, that kind of just personal debrief. I'd love to know, what do you do for recovery? Do you just sit by the side drinking cocktails for a few days?
There's definitely some beers and ciders and wines and everything else afterwards, for sure. Normally, I actually don't want to eat much. Like, it takes me a few days to get my appetite back, which I think is also that stress response in the body. Like, when your body is in that fight and flight state, your body's not going to put blood to your digestive system and want you to eat. So coming down out of that fight and flight, it takes me a few days to get my appetite back, and then I just want to eat and eat and eat. And sleep is my biggest thing. Is like, yes, I'm fatigued because I don't have much sleep during the events. Normally it's about 6. I think the most I've had is 10 hours over the few days in broken bits. But sleep to recover and let your body just do what it needs to do and find that normal again is really important. Lots of water is also my go-to. Rehydrating. So yeah, it's just once I get my appetite back, it's all about fueling the best that I can and refueling. Lots of water and lots of sleep are my recovery things, and supplements. I take a lot of supplements to help recover as well.
Well, I have been trying to track down Nicola, the sleep and stress queen, and to come into the podcast to talk more about all of that, what we just said. Obviously, that is her jam, and she was recently here in Australia, and she had a course on in Melbourne, except it was the same week as the Formula One Grand Prix.
Of course.
How you put on another weekend? So hopefully she'll be coming up on the show in the next couple of weeks to discuss.
Love her. She's amazing.
Stress within performance, and just I think people just take it for granted. Sleep. It's just one of those things again that you just have to do, but they don't understand what happens during that sleep cycle. So unless you've studied it or heard about it or have a general interest in the importance of sleep, I think young people just think, oh, well, old people just sleep a lot. But there's a reason as to why they sleep a lot, and there's a reason why we need to sleep, and just all that important stuff that hopefully we'll get covered in the next couple of weeks about sleep and recovery.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, hopefully so. So you mentioned on your intro that you wrote a chapter for a book as well.
Yes. Yes.
And how did all that
look, it all came about a bit randomly of someone was putting a book together of all different motherhood journeys to basically put a book together to show that mothers, that they're not alone and that their story is out there and someone else that they are heard, because there's so many people out there that think they're alone in the motherhood journey with whatever it is they're going through, because it's different for everybody. And so I put a chapter together for that book all about like how health can be simple at that phase, that you don't have to be out running marathons and you don't have to be eating these fabulous, amazing, fresh home-cooked meals every night, that it can be simple to be healthy when you're in those throes of not sleeping and not being able to control things like newborn babies. So for me, it's all about, it is just doing those simple things and what works for you. So making sure that you are drinking. If you can't control the sleep, you can control drinking enough water. You can control doing a bit of breathing to manage your stress. You can control getting out for a walk for 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be hours on end. So what is it that you can do that is small and simple that will fit in, that won't be an extra stress, because we don't want to increase your stress levels. We want to decrease them. So what can you do that is just nice and small that will work to decrease the stress on your body, improve your health, but not seem like an extra thing to do, like what can fit into your lifestyle and improve your health along the way. Particularly that chapter of the book was aimed for new mums, but it really can be applied to anyone at any point in their life as well.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I saw on your Instagram page that I loved the other week, that you posted about dinner and that you had one kid going left, one kid going right. And so you just did some salad. I shouldn't say just did salads, but it wasn't that thought process of, oh my God, I have to go home. I've got to do, steak and meat and 3 veg or anything like that. And you did individual salad boxes. And I think we hear some people now saying, oh, breakfast for dinner, it's a bit of a fad. But, it could work because a lot of the kids, definitely do know how to make themselves breakfast or cereal. And so if you are crunched for time, that sure, have breakfast for dinner, whatever works. But I did love that tip the other week that you posted about. Just do. And even though one had sausages, one had egg or something, I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
It goes. Yeah, and that's what it's all about, because our kids have sport 6 days a week. So there's something on every day of the week. And for me, when people talk about meal planning and meal prep, I don't sit there on a Sunday and cook 6 meals for the week. Meal prep and meal planning for me is about, right, what have we got on this week? How many days a week do I need to slow cook a meal? When are we eating on the run? And doing a meal, not necessarily a meal plan even, but just having a few things that I've got all the ingredients for. So I do one shot for the week and then that's through. And it is just throwing together what is going to be easy and what's going to work. A lot of the time it is just meat and salad, or as I said, one of them might have boiled eggs, one of them might have sausages, one of them might have meatballs, and just easy food for them that I know they're going to eat, because I don't need to add extra stress to the day when they're already probably fatigued from school and then extra sport and all of that. What can I get into them, and what can they eat in that 15 minutes on the way home? So then when they get home, they can just jump in the shower and go to bed, as opposed to then having to get home to eat and adding that the time on. So for me, it's all about making it easy for me, making it easy for them, and making it as time efficient as possible. And winter weather here in Perth is well and truly kicked in, so slow cooker meals. The kids don't love the slow cooker meals, but the same thing is like, look, if I'm doing a chicken and veggie something in the slow cooker, they might have a little bit of veggie, a little bit of chicken, and then a lot of rice with it. Whereas it might be the alternative for me. I might eat a lot of the chicken and a little bit of rice, and it's just being okay with that, and having food that they can eat on the run, which doesn't have to be complicated either. It's like whatever is in the fridge, cut it up, off you go.
I know. And see, like when I did my study many, many moons ago, it was always like breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Yet most Australians have dinner to be like the king, and all of these big meals. And so I do try and do it the other way around, where I do a bigger breakfast, or you're making sure the kids are not just having cereal, but like there's toast or crumpets and fruit or wraps, and then packing their lunches a little bit more substantial as well, so that when it does come to dinner, knowing that I've had a big day as well, that I can get away with just a soup and some fresh bread, or like this slow cooked stew that's there, but we will have it for 2 nights. Maybe like the second night I went back into the baked potatoes, Aimee. I'm like loving the baked potatoes.
Oh no, I don't do potatoes. I just don't like them. Sweet potato and pumpkin, absolutely.
Yes. Oh,
potato, just not my thing.
Really?
Yeah, I know, I'm weird.
Loaded sweet potatoes. Well, sweet potatoes are beautiful as well. So I think, like you say, it's just kind of like working what for you and your family, and especially like yourself. We've got kids out every afternoon doing different activities, scouts, music, everything.
Yeah, all the things.
Yeah, and I guess we're just saying off air before that, I feel like a lot of the parents that do that are involved within motorsport, it is like any parent that's involved in any sport. Our thought process is always around, what's best for our children. And sometimes we forget ourselves and the importance of us being mentally strong, physically fit, healthy, dehydrated, sleep well as well. Do you have any tips? I mean, you've given lots already, just about for a mum that can really just, it's okay. Like you've just said about dinner, is there anything else that's like, and you mentioned walking and all of that, but I think sometimes they feel guilty, and it's that mum guilt that we all have about doing something for ourselves, but just sharing the importance of doing that and having our own time, how much of a difference that can make in everybody's life in our supportive network.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. Like if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of everybody else. Like if you're not energized, and if you aren't sleeping well and you're not eating well and you're dehydrated and you've always got a bit of a headache going on, you're a bit tight in your back or whatever it is, you're not being the best that you can be. You can't give the best to everybody else. And so you do have to give yourself permission to go for that walk or go for that run, go for that swim, have a bath, read a book, take 5 minutes to breathe, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be going to yoga 3 days a week. It doesn't have to be having massages. It doesn't have to be all these big expensive things that a lot of people put it down to. It can literally be just going to bed 5 minutes earlier and doing some breathing. It can be sitting out the back with a hot cup of tea and doing some breathing, taking in some fresh air, going for a walk for 5 minutes. For me, I all through May decided I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that was 6 days a week. So I gave myself a sleep in, and that was not even necessarily to go running, because that's a lot of the time when I do my exercise, but it was just to give myself time to set myself up for the day. Sometimes it was literally sitting on the couch having a cup of tea. Sometimes it was running, sometimes it was stretching, whatever it was, but having that time just to reset. And that doesn't have to be at 5 o'clock in the morning for everybody. Some people that might be when you drop the kids off at school. I go straight from that to work, so it didn't work for me. That's the time that works for me. But again, finding out where you've got that little bit of time where you can just sit and breathe and plan. And my other tip that I give a lot of my clients is to have a list of 2 or 3 things that are your go-tos, but are the things that you forget to do when you are stressed or when you're busy. So if you know that taking 5 minutes to breathe, or going outside for a 10-minute walk, or stopping to have a stretch, or going to bed on time, what is it that goes out the window for you when you are busy, but you know makes a massive impact? And stick 2 or 3 of those things, post-it note on your bedside table or your dresser or in your diary, wherever it is, so that when you get into that mode and you forget to do it, there's a reminder right there. Then you see it and you remind yourself to do it, and you go, oh, yeah, that's right, I need to do those things, because if I take 10 minutes, I'm going to be much better for everybody else, including myself. So it's just having those reminders there to do it, because as much as we know to do the basic things, we forget. Especially when you're stressed and you're tired and you've got all the things going on, and there's a kid sick here or that, someone's calling in sick for work, and then it's raining outside, and so school drop-off has to change and all the things. So it's about having those few little touch point reminders of just to do those little things, and letting yourself forget the other 10 things that you should be doing and just focus on those couple. If it's literally going to bed on time, drinking water, perfect. Don't worry about all the other things that you normally do. Just get those 2 done, because that's going to be better than nothing.
Oh my God, women, we're so exhausted. We've got so many things going on in our life, don't we? Lunch and dinners and breakfasts and cup of tea and exercise and housework on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know exactly about your new course that's coming up, but I feel like it's a great transition into talking about, you say you've got a new Unwind 30 coming up. What's that all about?
Yes. So I have Unwind 30 coming up, which is 30 days with me. It's basically to give you back your time and your energy. So we're looking to recharge your energy, regain your time, and revitalize your life. So it's all for busy women who, as exactly what I was talking about, know the things that they need to be doing, but need to be reminded of it, and need someone to work through how to make it fit into your life, so that health can fit in rather than being something extra. We can't give you an extra few hours in your day. We can't magically inject extra energy into you, but using the tools that I know work for me and my clients, we can make things more efficient for you, and we can get some of that energy back. So we're not all just walking around saying that we are tired and exhausted all the time, because that's what I hear, and busy. So it's just about using all the simple strategies that I've been talking about, and just having that one-on-one connection and community within our Facebook group for the 30 days to really have access to me to go, right, I'm trying to do this doesn't fit, and I can go, cool, let's try X, Y, and Z instead. Because as I said before, everyone's different. Things fit differently. So yes, it's a group program, but I'm always in the group and giving everybody feedback on how to fit everything in with their life, so you get your time and energy back to be the best version of yourself.
Sign me up, Aimee. Where do we sign up?
So it's very easy. You can go to unwind30.com and that will take to the page. If we are in a waitlist period, you can jump on the waitlist, or you can join up as well if it's open when you jump on over there.
Fantastic. Now, you do have an Instagram account. Is that more personal or business account, or people wanting to follow your business career? Where's the best way to follow them?
Best way for business is on Instagram at Dr. Aimee Brown or on Facebook at Dr. Aimee Brown Chiro. But I hang out more on Instagram than I do on Facebook. That's the place to find me.
Instagram's the place. But I like Facebook. I'm old.
I like Facebook for the community and the group aspect. I like Instagram for you just get what you want. I find Facebook, I get a lot of other stuff on there. So, yeah, that's why I go to that one more.
You mentioned earlier in the show about the things going around on Instagram about chiropractors and all that. Well, I definitely know my kids follow them because they come and go, oh, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure. Like my boys are like 11 and 9. I'm like, I'm not quite sure that's the right demographic that they're targeting those chiropractic ads to. But already, you know, it's got them engaging conversation about it. So I don't know if there's pros and cons to it, but I guess
absolutely
the pros and cons of videos and you know, Instagram not having any kind of restrictions at the moment.
Yes.
Well, Aimee, thank you so much for today's interview. I really appreciate it. You've given us so much information to take on board. Of course, Aimee's information will be in today's show notes with the link to Unwind 30 as well as her Instagram and LinkedIn account, Facebook account. I'll put in her LinkedIn as well in case you want to have a consult with you. Okay, so do you do online consults as well, Aimee?
I do. So chiropractic consults are only in person in Perth and Manning, but I do have options for online sessions for me with one-on-one if people are interested in that. Yeah.
So you're like around about wellness and time management.
Yes.
Finding you, and I guess, you know, just more about the Unwind 30 program that she's going to be discussing. If you want to find out if it is for you, go to unwind.com, and of course that will be in the notes as well.
Thanks,
Aimee.
Thank you.
Do you have a run booked in?
No.
No semi-retirement? Really?
Yeah. Semi-retirement, really. Possibly one later in the year, but that's still, we're not putting it out there yet. We're seeing.
No triathlons? You're not into swimming? And
No. Don't like to swim or ride. No. And too many lots of different equipment. Like running, I just need my one lots.
Yeah.
There's more stuff involved in the rest. Don't have time for that.
That's very true. You are very busy. And I do appreciate your time today.
Pleasure.
Aimee, thank you very much for joining me. And I'm going to see you inside the Unwind 30.
Perfect. We'll see you soon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Get ready for the race.
Do you feel one step closer to being the next superstar behind the wheel? Motivatetraining.com.au for more. MOTIV, 8, training.com.au.
The green flag.
Every episode gets you one step closer to the checkered flag. The Motorsport Coaching Podcast, getting you to the checkered flag faster.